Welcome, everyone, to Live, Laugh, Lore, the podcast where we dive into the darkest corners of folklore, unravel spine chilling tales, and explore the eerie legends that haunt our world. My name is Emily.
I'm Caroline. And that was very beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you.
I love
I
it.
used AI to help me with that.
Happy almost New Year, almost Christmas.
Yes.
When this comes out, it will be Christmas.
It will be after Christmas. Yeah. It'll be the day after Christmas, right?
It will be the day after Christmas.
So it'll be
will be joyful and triumphant.
I don't know. I'll be back at work, so
it's joyful and triumphant. Do you know what one of my pet peeves are? I think I've told you this.
What? Does it have to do with me? Because I'm not able to handle that.
No. Okay. Grinch impersonators.
Oh.
I don't know if I talked about this the last time, actually, but
I don't think you have. No.
I've never told you that?
No, I've never heard this.
Oh, it's like a huge pet peeve. I can't even watch the video. Like, you know, at Universal, they always have like the characters.
Mm-hmm.
I can't even watch the ones of the Grinch in person. I think they're so irritating.
Oh, well, I think that's the point.
No, but not irritating in the fact that they're grumpy. Irritating the fact that Jim Carrey was so good at the improv and coming up with different pieces of that character. And I feel like all of the impersonators, like and I know this is their job. I understand that this is what the characters at the theme parks are supposed to do. Mm-hmm. But it's like the same three things. They're like, he's like sassy, and then he likes the onions, and everyone always brings him an onion. And then, I don't know. It's just not creative, and it's irritating to me.
I don't blame you. I will say, though, I did watch one where I forget what his name is. I think his name's Thomas. There's a guy who has pretty severe autism, and he loves Disney Universal Studios.
I've seen
all of the character actors know him by name and know how to communicate with him. It's very heartwarming. And one of his favorites is the Grinch. The Grinch yells at everyone else, like, "Get out of my way. Thomas is here." Which is really cute.
Yes, I know who you're talking about. I love watching videos of him.
Yes. So that was heartwarming. But yes, when he's just like doing regular day-to-day stuff, I'm like,
yeah, I just watch it and I'm like, I don't know.
If anyone out there is a character actor, I don't think I could do it.
I think they do a great job because I know that is their job to mimic that character. Mm-hmm. But I think it's just the Grinch. I'm like, the movie was so good because of the improv.
Yes. And that's my favorite Christmas movie. Like hands down, my favorite Christmas movie. And yeah, no, I don't think anyone could come anywhere close to Jim Carrey's performance. No. So yeah, I agree.
But I think that is kind of like a thing that irritates me about like all of the people who dress up as the characters at the parks. It makes me cringe. Like I can't even watch it. So that's that's my thing.
I'm surprised we haven't talked about that. We've talked about my pet peeves.
I'm surprised I haven't. Yeah, that I feel like I don't have that many.
Well, I got a little taste of not taste of my own medicine, but I was submerged in my own personal hell pet peeves. So as a reminder, I hate when people sneeze.
Oh my God, this is ridiculous.
I hate I hate when people sneeze more than once. I can forgive even twice. I can forgive that. But when it's like multiple in a row, I'm like, get it fucking together. Oh my God. Why are you punishing the rest of us? Like, go somewhere else and get this handled and then come back.
Did you sneeze like 4 times in a row?
No, my little sister is staying with me for like a week. And she's very allergic to cats. And I have 2 cats who are, they have been raised in a no boundaries household. So they are just everywhere all of the time.
Right.
And she loves them. So, I mean, she's also kind of like egging this on a little bit. But like this morning, she would not stop sneezing. And I held it together. If she listens to this is the first that she's hearing of this. But I held it together. I didn't say a word, even though everything inside of me was boiling over with rage.
It's like so wild. People can't help it. They're
Yes, they can.
sneezing.
Okay. In her situation, she could not. That was allergies. So she could not.
Okay.
I understand that. It still annoyed me, but I didn't say anything. If it's just a regular ass sneeze, get it the fuck out. You can get it out. I've Googled it. You're not projecting it hard enough.
Okay. My
I've had this
cousin
argument
sneezes like that. I know.
Had this argument so many times.
And the girl, I know. I don't know.
Your cousin sneezes like that?
Yeah. She,
No.
and it's so intense. There's no way she can help it. It is like a full body spasm when it happens. She can't. It's so. The teachers used to send notes home apparently and be like, she's looking for attention.
Okay, I would have been one of those teachers. So.
Okay. And I'm just letting you know it's a little bit irrational, but it's okay.
You know what? But it's mine.
It's your thing. I'm just laying the groundwork, but
yes. If I can hear really any bodily function more than once or twice out of one person, I'm gonna kill myself.
I will say one thing that bothers me is when people breathe really heavily through their nose. It's not even through their mouth, like mouth breathing doesn't. It's like, oh my God. It's just like when you're just sitting there and you're breathing in so deep over and over through your nose. I'm like, why are you so winded sitting at your desk? That bothers me.
Why are you so winded?
So I'm like, what's wrong with you? It's like one of those things I'm just like, are you okay?
Probably not. Yeah. Anyways.
Great.
Have I asked you what your favorite Christmas movie is? I've asked you your favorite Halloween movie, but
I love The Grinch and I love Elf, and I'll watch those every year. But I think that, okay, it's like Christmas with the Cranks is like a comfort one.
I don't know if I've ever seen that.
I really like it. It's with Jamie Lee Curtis and Tim Allen, and it's like, it's kind of stupid.
Okay.
But I love the movie, and I do watch it every year. It's the only one I've watched this year. It's like where their daughter goes off into the Peace Corps, and then they're going to skip Christmas. And then their daughter's like, I'm coming home. So they like have to get Christmas together in like a day.
Oh.
Okay. Anyway, I don't know. I like Jamie Lee Curtis.
Yeah, same.
So I love that one, but also Love Actually.
That one is good.
That one's so good.
So toxic in so many ways, but
I know, but I think it might be the best. I don't know. Or The Grinch is the best. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. The Grinch for me, those are all great choices. I've never seen Christmas with the Cranks, but I love Elf.
Yeah.
That is a classic. But yeah, The Grinch steals the show every time.
The Grinch, I like quote all the time. Like my favorite scene is when he's doing the pudding tasting. And then the man goes, this one is not pudding. And he's like, what is that? This is not pudding.
Oh my God. There's just, it's by far the most quotable movie that I can think of from my childhood. It's fantastic. Yeah. And the older I get, the more I am turning into him. The agoraphobia is kicking in hardcore lately. And
yeah, that's what you told me, which is
yeah. And after you told me that, 2 other people, unprompted, told me the same thing.
Oh, really? Yeah.
But they told me that while I was out of my apartment. So I was like, you look like a fool. I'm going to go home.
You look like yeah, I don't know. It's weird. It's definitely weird. I mean, maybe it's just like a comfort. I get it. Like sometimes as I've gotten older, I want to be inside more.
Yeah. I mean, I just love being alone and in my comfortable space where all of the elements are controlled by me. There's no variables. I am the only variable, which I'm comfortable with in my apartment.
Yeah, I think you leave. I think you've always been like,
I'm a social person. It's just my social battery has become less and less as I've gotten older, which I think normal.
I think it is just a change in what we like to do.
Yeah.
I think that is a big, as you get older, the validation from going out doesn't feel as good. I don't really want it.
Any form of attention, whether it's positive or not positive, I don't like it.
I had a dream the other night that I got to the last level of my
Sorry. Okay.
of a video game, and I had to put my cats down.
What?
And I kept trying to go back to the last saved level so that I could bring them back because I was so upset in my dream.
Oh my God.
I woke up and I was like, it was the worst dream. That's what happens when I leave them. I just worry about them all the time.
Yeah, I had a dream. Speaking of weird dreams, I had a dream the other night that I had a massive lizard in my house, but it wasn't alive. It was like the size of my couch, which is very large. And I was decorating it by gluing a bunch of like pink flowers to it. And it was just like on the floor, like laid out. And I was like, what a beautiful decoration.
Lizard.
Yeah, I thought, no big deal. This is exactly what I needed for my living room. And then as I'm gluing the last flower on it, it like its eyes open and it like wakes up. And it's so fucking fast, chasing me around my apartment. And I jump out the window. It's a whole thing. And I woke up.
Dreams are crazy.
Yeah. And I woke up panicking because I thought my cats were still inside with the lizard and I thought they were going to die. And let me tell you, a lizard, no matter how many flowers are on it, when it's the size of your couch and it wants to eat you, it's still very scary.
Yeah. So it's horrifying.
Yeah. So I don't know what that's supposed to mean as far as like dreams go, you know?
I definitely don't know what that means.
Yeah.
I don't think I should. Very artistic though.
It does. I feel like it's something like an artistic project of yours is going to sabotage you. What is your New Year's resolution?
I don't have like one specific one, like be a better person or something. But this year I read 22 books, which is the most I've ever read. My goal was 25. So I think I'm going to stick to that goal of 25 next year. I'm actually going to get to it. And then this year I said I was going to do like a half marathon and I didn't. So I'm definitely going to do it next year.
Love that.
And I just bought running shoes with a gift card that I had from my company, which was very nice. So
that is nice.
Now I have to run.
Oh, okay. I asked that question. I don't really know what my New Year's resolution would be other than maybe figure out how to go to a grocery store without freaking out. But also, it's fine. Instacart's great. But with that, I will also add that it would be great if I could maybe use Uber Eats a little bit less. And I think that's been my New Year's resolution for the last like 5 years.
You use it a lot.
I use it a lot. I love it.
Do you like cook at all anymore?
Nope.
Really?
Well, I cook for my family once a week.
Oh, okay.
I do enjoy cooking.
Yeah, I love cooking.
And I'm not bad at it either.
No, you're not.
But I don't like cooking for myself. Like
I
want
find
instant
that
gratification and I don't want to clean.
When I like stop doing those things, like cooking, I get sad. Something about like cooking feels like self-care for me. You know what I mean?
Rather than just self-care for me.
Rather than just like boiling pasta and then like,
yes,
you know. I don't know.
Yeah, it does not feel like self-care to me at all. There are other things that feel like self-care to me.
Yeah,
like doing my nails or taking.
There you go. I hate doing my nails.
I love doing all of those things.
I hate it. Yeah.
Doing a puzzle by myself with a glass of wine and fuzzy socks. That's self-care. Cooking for myself and for no one else. No. But it is my go-to second date is to have him over for dinner that I cook.
Second?
Yeah. Second or third.
Yeah.
Yeah. Depends on how much I like him, I guess. But impress him with my cooking skills, even though one of the last times that I did that, I undercooked the noodles and they were crunchy, but we dated for 4 months after that. So
I mean, yeah, it obviously didn't work. Anything.
It was fine.
I can't remember the last time I cooked for a guy. They've all been cooking for me, so.
I can't remember the last time a guy cooked for me.
Yeah, the last 2 guys I've dated have cooked for me.
Mm,
And I never cooked for them, but they were both chefs, so
that is nice.
I was like, I'm not gonna do it because you're gonna be like, this is disgusting. Anyways,
Without
we've been talking for some time.
Yes. Yes, we have. Are we ready to dive into it? Okay.
Yeah, I'm finally ready.
I don't know what today's topic is either.
You don't.
Yeah.
I know. It's
very
exciting. Yeah, I got a little bit excited yesterday.
Well, you panicked. Yeah.
Well, I could not. Nothing was speaking to me. And then I was like, I've been really into reading true crime books. And so that was like where my brain was, and that's what I was getting excited about. And then my mom told me about something, and I was like, this is cool. And I did all these notes, and I was like, this is true crime. This is not.
Yeah.
But it was really cool. But
it did sound very cool from what you told me.
Yeah, it wasn't like lore or urban legends or anything like that. It didn't work. But today,
story, but
this is definitely a legend. This is definitely an urban legend. It's a place. I had never heard of it, but I went through like our topics and then I tried to find one that stood out to me. So this is the story of the Pine Barren Forest and the Jersey Devil. So this is in New Jersey. I initially was just going to do it on Jersey Devil, but then the Pine Barren Forest sounded pretty interesting to me. So I was like, we'll just do it about like both and how they're pretty creepy.
Nice.
So the Pine Barren Forest is in New Jersey. It's a vast and foreboding forest shrouded in an eerie, timeless stillness. By day, the twisted pines cast long, jagged shadows across the sandy soil, and the air is very heavy. There's a scent of damp earth and decaying leaves. Once night falls, the forests transform into a realm of dread, and the trees stand tall like sentinels. A dense fog creeps through the forest, and a wind whistles through the trees, and every snap of a twig feels amplified, and the forest comes to life. Many believe that they are not alone when exploring the forest, and unnatural screams are heard echoing through the darkness, and hoofprints can be found that lead virtually nowhere. It's one of the rarest and most unique types of forests in the world, apparently. The forest covers the southern half of the Garden State, and it's known, like I said, to have a sandy soil, and it has swampy iron bogs, so it has a lot of natural resources. Very beautiful, but it's known to have this eerie kind of foggy ambiance and a lot of thick undergrowth and a lot of maze-like pathways to get lost in. Originally, it was, are you looking it up?
Yes.
And I will post photos of it on our social media, but
Spooky.
It wasn't, yeah, it is spooky. It's kind of what you think about the foggy,
Northeast.
Yeah, the Northeast, like having that really like eerie, foggy forest type thing going on.
Yeah. Yeah. Spooky.
So around 10,000 years ago was the first time where people started to live there. It was ancestors of the Lenape tribe, which is a Native American tribe. They would use the resources in the forest. They were kind of like a symbiotic relationship, as a lot of Native Americans do. Burn the wood to reduce the underbrush, also improving their plant yield, improving hunting conditions. They worked really closely with the land. But in 1624 is when European exploration began. And that was when the earliest permanent European settlers began building communities. They used the resources to make like timber, the bog iron, sand, peat, and wood. And they actually used some of these resources to provide weapons and tools for the American military during the American Revolution and the War of 1812. So eventually, the Pine Barren Forest was abandoned by many for new forests that had richer ore sources, and they actually had trees to cut down because a lot of deforestation had happened. A lot of people started to move west. Those that stayed were referred to as pineys, and it's considered to be kind of a derogatory term, but people describe them now as like people that inhabit the forest, and I guess you would call like hill people in the South or like something like that.
Yeah.
So a lot of the towns were completely abandoned and they fell into decay, and many of these ghost towns are haunted, and the forest is haunted and it's home to some creepy creatures, including one called the Jersey Devil.
The Jersey Devil is a cryptid, right?
It is a cryptid.
Okay.
Yes. So this is one of our first cryptid episodes.
Yes,
cool.
I love cryptids, so I'm very excited.
I think we're probably going to get into quite a few cryptids here on out. So the Jersey Devil is also known as the Leeds Devil. It's an authentic folk legend, and the story varies from person to person, as does any legend. But for over 250 years, tales have circulated about the creature who lives in the midst of the New Jersey Pinelands. So why is this cryptid so captivating? Why is it so famous? It's said to have a very grotesque and otherworldly appearance, and the Pine Barren Forest is isolated and eerie, and it is just one of those places that people gravitate towards when it comes to spooky things. The Jersey Devil is said to have a piercing scream that haunts anyone who hears it, and its presence is kind of like a bad omen for disaster or misfortune. In 1735, deep in the New Jersey Pine Barren Forest, a woman named Jane Leeds became pregnant with her 13th child. She obviously, 13 children is a lot. And she said she cursed this one, saying, "Let this one be the devil." Probably she was kidding. I'm sure she was just tired of having kids, as anyone with 12 children would be.
Yeah.
People took it seriously. People, hear that and they blame the mother and go with that. And so one night she went into labor. The room was flickering with candlelight and the wind was howling, and there was a vicious thunderstorm that was raging outside. Some say when she finally gave birth, the child was born deformed, but others say that he was born normal and later took on these odd characteristics. In each retelling, the Jersey Devil does have similar characteristics, although most vary. It's kind of like this kangaroo-like creature with the face of a horse or the head of a dog. It's the photos that I saw, it looks more like a horse, almost like a dragon that stands on two legs. It has horns, cloven feet, and a tail, and then huge bat-like wings. So it's just this giant creature. It stands taller than any human could. She kept the child confined in the home until one day it made its escape out, either out the cellar door or up the chimney. One of the first sightings of the Jersey Devil was by a man named Stephen Decatur. He was an early 19th century naval hero. And according to legend, he was visiting a mill out there and he was going to inspect the cannonballs for the military. And while he was there, he was visiting a firing range and sighted a flying creature that was flapping its wings. Immediately, he fired a cannonball directly upon it, but it seemingly had no effect on it and continued to fly away.
I don't know why that makes me laugh. Imagining a cannonball inspection is funny to me.
It is.
Like, what is he inspecting? Like, yep, it's round.
Is it round? Yeah.
Would it hurt real bad if that hit me? Yep,
yeah.
Good job.
I don't know. After this, there were more sightings. In 1812, Joseph Bonaparte, if that name sounds familiar, it's because it's Napoleon's brother. He also was reported to have seen the devil while he was hunting in the woods. This one's kind of funny. The infamous Captain Kidd had buried treasure in Barnegat Bay, which is apparently close. I'm not really sure where that is in relation to the forest. But he beheaded one of his men to guard the buried treasure forever. And accounts claimed that the headless pirate and the Jersey Devil became buddies. And they were seen in the evening taking a stroll on the beach.
Oh, I love that.
He wasn't lonely.
He wasn't lonely. That's so nice.
Yes.
I wonder if there's like an app for like lonely cryptids. Like, wayward souls.
Cryptid Cupid.
Cute. Wait. I love that.
Yeah. So Sightings of the Jersey Devil were greatly passed down by word of mouth, but in 1909, the first written accounts were published. 30 different sightings took place in 1 week, and they were reported from police to newspaper articles. It was, just regular people seeing these, and it ended up being like 1,000 sightings in that year. It created this panic in the region, and the devil craze began. Reports of the devil raiding chicken coops and farms, destroying crops, and killing animals rose. Many described the devil being anywhere from 3 to 10 feet tall, which is a big, difference.
Yeah.
But it could fly, jump, and make terrible screeching noises. His presence was seen across 50 different towns. In some rural towns, men would form armies to defend themselves while their wives and children would stay home and lock the doors. Stay away from this devil creature. Devil child, devil child.
So would this Jersey Devil, would it go out looking for people to attack, or was it like if you stumbled upon it, then
That's kind of the thing. It's like not really said. I think it is like opportunistic, so it's whatever it sees. But for the most part, there's no real attacks on humans. It's mostly on like chickens or pigs and just sightings of this thing. It just, I think, looks more scary. Kind of like Bigfoot,
Mm-hmm.
It might just be like secluded. It doesn't want to really see anyone.
Well, if it grew up being secluded by his mother, then yeah, he's got worse agoraphobia than I do.
Right. So just as quickly as the appearances began, they faded away, and until 1927, there were not any reports of the Jersey Devil. Until one day, a taxi driver in Salem, Massachusetts, allegedly encountered the Jersey Devil while changing a tire. A man told the police that a winged creature was pounding on the roof of his cab. More sightings were reported in 1960 when several residents of Mays Landing heard horrifying screams in the night. There was absolutely no explanation for these noises, and people began to panic, and they actually had a $250,000 reward that was offered to anyone who would capture the beast, but no one has ever received the reward. It's a pretty hefty reward. In 1972, a woman named Mary Ritzer Christensen reported that she saw the creature on Green Tree Road. Christensen was driving from Blackwood to Glassboro, and she saw the towering figure crossing the road about 25 feet behind her. She described it as a figure that stood taller than the average man with thick legs like a goat and a huge woolly head. Now, this reminded me of another one that I was going to do today, which was called the Goat Man. And it is in a similar area. So it could be the Goat Man.
So we'll have to get to that. Did she say that this figure that she saw had wings?
She didn't. She just said it looked kind of... See, that's why I thought the Goat Man.
Yeah. Yeah. Because wings are very distinctive. Like
they're very distinctive.
Hard to miss.
Yeah. And I think it was at night. So, but people in this area take it very seriously. And there's interview after interview. There's photos of cops making crime scenes. I mean, this is like it's a big deal in the area. People take it like it's a real thing.
I love that.
The sightings remained unviolent until 1980 when a pack of dead pigs were discovered. The backs of their heads had been eaten and their bodies were scratched and torn, but there were no tracks in the area and there was absolutely no blood on the ground.
That sounds like aliens. I forget where this was, but there was like a whole trail of cows that were being killed, but there was like no blood and they were like almost dissected.
Yeah.
I guess. And like they could not figure out what it was. That sounds very similar to this.
It does sound
They
similar.
think it's aliens. They thought it was aliens.
So there are many accounts today of still seeing the Jersey Devil, and there's actually an entire subreddit dedicated to the sightings. This is one by EJ Legak. It was written just 2 months ago.
Oh.
So this is called My Encounter with the Jersey Devil. Living one town west of the Pine Barrens, I occasionally hear stories of the devil. how it is impervious to bullets, how it took a blow from a cannon, but I never thought I would encounter it myself. Around a week ago, I was visiting some family in Washington, the town, which is about an hour drive, while driving south on 206. I had encountered a deer. It was moving from left to right. A minute later, another deer moving in the same direction. In the next 2 minutes, I encountered 4 more deer. That's 2 deer a minute. I was very confused until I heard a strange screeching noise and something flew overhead, blocking out the moon. I was terrified, so I sped up. Only about 20 seconds later, the corpse of a deer was thrown onto the road in front of me, and a large creature emerged from the woods. It looked like it had the head and legs of a goat, and the body and arms of a man, massive wings, and a tail that looked straight up demonic. At that point, my lights started to flicker, and I lost sight of the creature. When I could see the road again, the deer and the devil had disappeared. When I got to my destination, I told my family about it, and we concluded that it was the Jersey Devil that I had seen. That was one account recently of the Jersey Devil, which sounds terrifying to have a deer thrown out.
Yes.
I mean, I don't know what that even could be. What could possibly throw a deer like that?
I have no idea. That's terrifying.
I don't know.
But that sounds like every traditional description of the devil that I've ever heard.
It does. And so that's why it's called like the Jersey Devil. I mean, it literally sounds like, that's what it sounds like. It's actually the devil.
Yikes.
I mean, obviously there can be some theories as to what this actually is. So I saw this photo of this type of bat that is really, really large, but it's not as large as what people describe the Jersey Devil. People that see the Jersey Devil, they describe it as being 10 feet tall, taller than a man could ever be, or a woman could ever be. I mean, and also having wings, like something that size having wings. Bats are big. I mean, bats can get really big, but not that big, I hope.
If they can, I don't want to see it.
When we were in Australia, we saw fruit bats, and they're big. I mean, we just have the little bats here, but we saw them in the trees. We were like, oh my God, they're massive.
They're like half the size of a person, right?
Fruit bat? No, I would say they're like a dachshund, size of a dachshund.
Oh, what bat am I thinking of?
It's a giant golden crown flying fox.
No, and I guess they're not half the size of a person, but
yeah, but they're big. I know what you're talking about. They do eat fruit. They're from Myanmar.
Okay. I mean, if I saw something like that swooping down at me, I would shit my pants. But
oh my gosh, still, I mean, not seeing the fruit bats, I was like, oh my God, that thing is. I mean, it's like a flying dachshund. That's terrible.
Don't give those things wings. Could you imagine?
Yeah.
This storyline reminds me of Phantom of the Opera.
Yeah.
Wait, where let me explain. Like the very beginning when you were talking about how like maybe this baby was born like deformed or something.
Oh yeah.
And then was kept secluded away. Like that's kind of the storyline of the Phantom of the Opera. He was born with deformities, and then he was like sold off to the circus or something, and he was called the Devil Child or something.
Right. Well, that's like American Horror Story. Which one was the one about the circus?
Freak Show. Yes.
Yeah, that's kind of how it is.
Yeah.
Freak Show.
Yeah. So very similar trope apparently in our stories.
Yeah.
But yeah, and every single one of those, they turn out to be, well, kind of. They turn out to be monsters.
People. Oh, what?
Phantom of the Opera killed a lot of people.
Oh, you're right. I guess he did.
Yeah. He was not okay.
Well, I mean, he was like a normal person. Like,
oh, yeah, he was a human. He was
a human. Yeah. That's what I meant. I was like,
okay. Like he was not a normal person.
Yeah, no, he was a horrible person.
Yes.
Gerard Butler.
Gerard Butler. Oh, Gerard.
Beautiful.
I love him.
If you're listening, Gerard Butler, I'm holding out for you.
We both are.
He's probably very old now.
Probably.
It's okay.
Honestly, that's fine.
So the Pine Barren Forest, like I said, has a lot of abandoned areas. People go to explore to see different things. A lot of it, I mean, you go in and you just know that it's haunted, right? So I found this other spooky story. This one They didn't say it was the Jersey Devil, but it sounds like it to me. It was pretty freaky. So this is from a now deleted account on Reddit. The title is, I will never, in all caps, go back there again. Before my best friends and I were separated, one passed away and the other moved away, we used to ride around doing all of the haunted legend places within reasonable driving distances. Sometimes we'd drive a few hours, but most of them weren't scary. Other than the adrenaline-filled, hyped up, did you hear that? Did you see that? That would cause us to get spooked. This one was different, way different. We were just out of high school, probably 20 at most, and we were looking for an actually scary place to visit. A lot of the people we knew we were into these kinds of things, so we'd always get tips on where to go. There was the original 3 of us that day and another friend that wanted to tag along. After a little drive to our destination, about 45 minutes, we stopped at a Wawa to get gas and grab a few snacks. Like I said earlier, we were about 20 at the time, so we were all hyped up because we knew spooky time was getting close. We'd always pick on the other friend that tagged along. Nothing harsh, but just, you're scared or whatever. So I believe it was me that said something along those lines that was overheard by a few people. It got the attention of a few people in the Wawa, including 2 creepy older guys who seemed like they didn't fit in. Their clothes were all beat up and dirty, and they just didn't seem right for the area. And the time, it was probably 8 p.m. on a Saturday night. What's the little one scared of? Asked one of the guys. I say little because the 3 of us are abnormally tall. The shortest between us was 6'4", and he was normal height, probably about 5'9". We replied and explained how we got tipped off to go to this road because it's haunted. They replied that it wasn't scary, and if we wanted a real scare, we should go to this random road. I forget what it was called exactly, but apparently there's this random memorial statue for a plane crash in the middle of the woods, and crazy things are supposed to happen there. We grabbed our stuff and didn't think anything of it. As soon as we left, the group started talking and decided to go with the other road that the guys hyped up. I know, typical horror movie, what not to do. So we get to the entrance of the road, and it does not disappoint. Woods on both sides, not a damn street light in sight. And I remember that there was like a detention center off to the right, in the middle of nowhere. So the spooks already began the second we hit the entrance. We decided to drive down the road and search for the statue. We noticed that there were trees cut down on the side of the road and laying parallel to the shoulder of the road. We finally find the statue. About 5 minutes of silence go by, and we decided to enhance the scare factor by shutting off the lights. About a minute goes by and we see a shadow figure pop out from the statue. We all freak out and it starts walking towards us, but it was making movements that no human would be normally capable of. It was dark out, but this thing was black. It was darker than the woodsy sky, so we could make something of it. This thing was huge, like I said earlier. We're extremely tall compared to the average guy, but this thing would have dwarfed any of us. We decided to peel out of there and continue down the road, figuring it would lead us out of there, but boy, were we wrong. About 3 minutes go by and we hit a dead end, which in this case was an open spot in the woods with sand everywhere. The cutout was massive but surrounded by woods. There were different cutouts and ways to go from there, and I'm pretty sure the road continued after this, but we were pretty deep in the woods at this point. So we decided to turn around and obviously leave. After we turned around, we stopped just to take in the eerie feeling. The 3 other guys were talking about the shadow we saw earlier, and I happened to catch something out of the corner of my eye. About 40 feet away from me, I see what appears to be a white face and another, all surrounding the car. The other guys didn't see them, and I'm rarely ever scared, but seeing me panic, they knew something was up. My panic caused them to panic, all panicking now. We then floor it away from the sand, turn around, and we get about a half a mile down the road, somewhere near the statue, and pull over to gather ourselves. When we stopped, I swear I heard the typical ghost ooh noise, so we're really scared now. After finding the way we came, we started heading back out. Remember the trees I was talking about earlier? They were now laying in the middle of the road, blocking us in. We see all of the white faces that we saw earlier. Thank God one of my friends was good at driving and valued safety over his car, and we drove over the edge of the woods. The car was literally sideways on the edge of the woods. I mean, I could stick a finger out and touch the trees. We all made it home safely that night. After doing research, we found out that spot was notorious in the area for crazy things happening, such as body dumps and murders. Because of the shadow and the ghost noise we heard, My head, heart, and gut tells me this place is actually haunted.
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah.
That all sounds like it's haunted to me.
So, I mean, that sounds terrifying. The faces.
The faces, that's what got me. I was, ugh. No, 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 no.
Yeah.
No, thank you. I also think that it's so interesting that people describe shadow people the same way every time of like they're blacker than black, like void of any sort of anything.
I know.
To where if you see them in darkness, you can see their outline still in the dark, which is scary.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're literally nothing. They're a void person.
Right? I know. So that is the Pine Barren Forest, the Jersey Devil. There are more stories. It is known in the area to be very haunted, very freaky. It sounds like it.
Yes.
No.
Sounds, very, very freaky. I feel like I've heard of a couple stories from New Jersey.
Yeah.
Like that.
Me too.
So probably around the same topics. Mm-hmm. Most likely. But yeah, that's a spooky place. I feel like whenever there's like a unique ecological situation happening, like a environment that's unique to a certain place, like the Pine Barren Woods, you said those were not, that was not common for that area or like anywhere really. Like, why is that?
Right.
What's going on there?
Yeah.
What's happening?
I don't know.
A scientist, your sister probably would hear me say that and be like, you're an idiot. But it's the ghosts, okay?
It's the ghosts, and that's what we do here.
It's not science.
We don't look at the science.
Right now, I don't want to hear the science.
About this, I don't really.
I don't want to hear it. No. If it does not support the theory that there's a winged creature out there, then I don't want to hear it.
No, exactly. A winged thing.
A winged entity. That was very scary. I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't really planning on going to New Jersey anyways, but
no.
Now I have even less of a reason to go.
Same.
If anyone is listening from New Jersey, I'm sure it's a fantastic place. I've never been.
There are so many things in that area. I mean, like, there are so many different cryptids in the Northeast.
The Northeast
is why I love the Northeast.
I love the Northeast.
But there's also so many things in the South.
And so many things in the desert. Scary things.
There are.
Yeah. Rewinding really quick too. When you were talking about the screeches that the Jersey Devil does, have you ever heard a red fox scream?
No.
I just recently heard it on TikTok. Someone was filming in a forest in the Netherlands. I think it was like outside of Amsterdam or something. Mm-hmm. And she had set up her camera and she hears what sounds like a man screaming.
Oh, yeah.
And it is a guttural, like it is bad. It sounds like he's being tortured and it's super loud. And the forest around her is terrifying. And she just is standing there like, hello?
Yeah.
Girl. Anyways, someone, like a bunch of people in the comments were like, oh, that's a red fox. And I pulled it up trying to figure out, does it sound the same? It does sound scary.
Yeah.
The red fox sound. It sounds kind of like how a mountain lion's scream sounds like a woman's scream. Mm-hmm. They get blamed a lot for cryptids as well.
Wait, did you just say coyotes?
No. Coyotes don't really sound, they sound more like
a baby.
They do sound like babies. But mountain lions, they scream like a fully grown woman. And then these like red foxes scream a little bit lower, but they sound like a human.
Yeah.
It's terrifying. Which if I heard that in the woods, I would be like, oh fuck, there's someone here. I need to get out of here. So a lot of times when people try to tell me like stories like, oh, there was a shapeshifter in the woods, I heard a woman screaming and I'm like, that was a mountain lion, but
yes,
you should still run. You should still get out of the woods if you 100%. Hear that. Like either way, you are not welcome. So you should get out. But I was wondering, like, if they hadn't seen the creature and they were just hearing the sounds, it was probably just an animal.
Yeah, and like that's the thing about these stories, and I think what was the one, like the Bell Witch, where they saw those animals. It's like, do they just see animals that they hadn't seen before? But at this point, we know so much about, I mean, there's probably so few animals on land that we haven't identified yet. I think at least like in North America, because we are so overdeveloped as a country, I think, yeah, it's like, what else could it be? That was one of the theories. It was like someone, I think, at a university had a theory that it was some sort of prehistoric creature that had survived and we just had never identified it yet. So it's like really rare. So I mean, maybe it's like a super rare animal or something that we just never see, but I don't know.
But if that was the case, how has it lived this long? Are there multiple of them? Like, are they breeding? What's happening?
I mean, they're breeding. Maybe it's like there's just so few.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Same question about Bigfoot, like you mentioned earlier. Like, is there a community of Sasquatches somewhere that are just living in peace? If so, let's not bother them because
are there multiple Yetis? Are there multiple Jersey Devils?
Yetis freak me out. That's scary.
Yeah.
Well, that's very interesting. We should definitely do more cryptids. I love cryptids.
Yes, we should.
Do you have a favorite cryptid?
No, I don't like. No? I don't know anything about them. I feel like I like things that are like haunted places. That's like my thing.
I like the creatures. I think they're cool. Like Mothman is my favorite. But more so, I think because of the lore around Mothman, which we can do one about Mothman. But there's a whole community in West Virginia.
Yeah.
There's a statue of him and he's like muscled out. He looks really hot in this statue. And I'm like, what's going on out here?
Mothman was suggested by a listener. So we should probably do that.
Okay. Okay. Cool. I just watched a Unsolved Mysteries episode about him as well. Ooh. So yeah, maybe we'll have to do that.
I'm sure we'll do more cryptid episodes. Yes. But we hope you enjoyed this.
Yay.
Thanks for listening.
Thank you for listening. If you did enjoy this, please make sure that you are subscribing and rating and commenting, sharing, doing all the things. Help us boost the engagement as much as we can.
Yeah.
We just switched recording platforms. So far, fingers crossed, so good. So the sky is the limit at this point. Go to our Instagram to find all of our platforms. Our Instagram is live laugh lore_pod. And there's a link tree in there to get to our YouTube, TikTok. We now have access to TikTok. We got locked out.
Yeah, we got locked
for a minute.
But we're good.
But we're good now. And there are emails also in there. And so literally any of those platforms, if you guys have any ideas, things that we should talk about, please reach out. We would love to hear from you. And yeah. Otherwise, thank you again for listening.
And have a happy new year.
And have a happy new year. We'll see you guys in we'll see you guys in 2025. Oh my god.
Woo! My gosh. When I turn 30.
Okay. Some of us are already there.
Anyway, we gotta go.
We have to leave. We must flee now.
Okay, bye.
Okay. Bye guys.